underlying issues. And initially, we were looking at the most impacted area. We looked at Nairobi as one of the urban areas, and Bomet, Bomet in Kenya, which are some of the areas with very high stunting, especially for children. And we were looking at maybe to solve that solution through schools, through hospitals, through the Ministry of Health, through street vendors, to see whether they can also serve nutritious food. Like if you're to sell the products that are going around to street vendors, maybe they would impact on they would also impact on the feeding pattern of especially the children who also rely on street food. So we're also looking at how we can train parents to avail nutritious products, and also monitoring of the status of selected children who may use the nutritious food. So we had to look at the baseline to see whether there was going to be any change amongst those children. And when we looked at all these objectives, we found it too broad. So we realized that within the time that we had, we were not going to be able to achieve our objective. So we used the tools such as issue tree, the 5 trees, to get to the root cause of the problem, and so that we can narrow down our help to an area where we can have at least an impact during the given period, and the available resources that we had. And so we settled on the use of pre-cooked green grams that is produced by Nature Law Company, at least for school feeding for children under 15 years. And when you looked at Nairobi, the area with the highest stunting was Korokocho, which is also one of the slums, but we were not able to work in that area due to insecurity issues. So we said that for the purpose of help, we select Kayole, which is also a slum area, and more accessible, so that we can see what impact we can have in that area. And in selecting our topic, we looked at the UNICEF Nutrition Conceptual Framework to guide us. And at this point, we look at malnutrition, and we look at the immediate causes, we look at underlying causes and the basic causes. So at the basic causes, we see a lot of issues from the resources, political and ideological factors, economic structure, and we're also looking at resources, human and economic and organizational resources that are available. And then look at factors such as inadequate education, which also impact on nutrition issues, because knowledge is very important. And we look at the access, and in order to have inadequate access leads to inadequate dietary intake, and we look at those who are impacted, especially children and women, and care is also very important in ensuring adequate nutrition. And also diseases are also likely to affect nutrition due to insufficient health services or unhealthy environment. So for the help, we concentrated on inadequate dietary intake in order to address the immediate causes. As I said, malnutrition was increasing, and the most vulnerable population, which are children and women, needed attention. So we were looking at this immediate cause and how we can address it. So we realized that we need an immediate solution. Unfortunately, the availability of these products was important in our intervention as an immediate solution. Because in a case where malnourished people or children need to be treated, food is very important, and the right food, nutritious food, is very important. And at this time, we looked at the importance of public and stakeholder sensitization for product adoption. And we realized that, especially for me, like in the Ministry of Agriculture, I was not aware about the existence of this product. So we realized that at that point, we needed other stakeholders who could support us. They needed to be sensitized, to be aware that these products are there and they can play a role in supporting these children who are undernourished, or ensuring that they feed well. And the aspect of sustainability was very important in that, because we realized that if we came up with a project that is not sustainable, it was going to be a white elephant. And because we had the company that was already having the product to ensure sustainability, we felt that the private sector was best placed to work with other stakeholders, the NGOs, other development partners, the government, to ensure continuous availability of this product and to support support feeding of the children. Maybe if they can buy, then they can support also feeding of the children in schools. So we targeted schools as the best entry point because of the school management and also the parents who could be sensitized. And we also considered feeding in public and private secondary schools. So on the theoretical frameworks, for change, we looked at the socio-cultural issues that impact on, as an aspect, a factor in the environment that can affect dietary behavior. And also factors such as increased workload, changes of pattern. Here is a product that is ready to use, so it was going to address that. And we're also looking at food preparation methods, and in order to change attitude of communities on consumption of green grams or the legumes, it was important for them to have a taste of a different way of preparation, because you find that most people concentrate on animal protein compared to plant protein. So we were looking at all that aspect, and also we're looking at how school environment can also positively impact on availability and access to that, and individual factors such as attitude, habits and strength, perceived food safety and taste, as well as socioeconomic status. And in this case, we are looking at financial capability of affording the products, the nutritious product. And all this would result in, would contribute to dietary behavior change. So in our ALP intervention, our areas of concern included conducting or sampling schools in 5 primary schools to influence uptake of pre-cooked green grams in school feeding programs, working with teachers and parents to emphasize appropriate nutrition packages that can reduce malnutrition among children, and also collecting data to have a baseline on a school feeding program and how the situation generally is in school, and to analyze the data. And we also conducted cost analysis of the product for value proposition. It was important to know whether the product was going to add any value to the consumers. Then it also included engaging of stakeholders from Ministry of Agriculture, education, and also we had an education and emergency unit that needed to be engaged. And we also organized factory visits for people to be sensitized and to understand how the production of the commodities is done. And we developed education, communication material for awareness creation. So I'll hand over to Tay to continue from there.
Thank you very much. Before Tay continues, and thank you for accommodating us, I'm very honored to announce that we are now joined by our chief guest. And to introduce our chief guest, could I please request Dr. Apollos Nwafor, Vice President for Policy and State Capability at AGRA, to please come onto stage and introduce our special guest. And let us give a warm African welcome when we do hear about our chief guest.
Thank you. I don't think this should take a lot of time because he's got a lot of work to do here and he's going to reassure us. First of all, let me use this opportunity to thank all of us that we've come to this point. We're almost there, I tell you. You're almost about to be announced as graduates. So we'll soon be there. But to make sure that that happens, I'd like to welcome our chief guest, the principal secretary at the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Livestock Development for the Republic of Kenya, and that's Mr. Kelo Hasfan. Please. PS, would like you to please come forward and take your seat. I want you to kindly bear with us as you listen to some of the last ALP presentation, and then we will go into the graduation and closing ceremonies. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we will continue, and thank you, PS, for making it. We really appreciate this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Apollos, and Karibu Sana, Honorable Permanent Principal Secretary. I'm going to hand over to Tay now to continue. I think
you do. All right, good afternoon. Yes. As he has pronounced very properly, my name is Kelo Harsama. I'm the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Crops Development in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. I'm actually in celebration mood because I'm only 2 days in office. So, so if you find me so excited, I think I have some right, isn't it? So I have a small speech here, which I will read. Then I will make very good. So I'll be using it as my talking notes. So Dr. Apollos Nwafo, the Vice President of AGRA, John Macharia, the Country Director of AGRA, Dr. Nungari Mwangi, the CALA Program Leader, CALA graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to join you today at the graduation ceremony for Eastern Africa inauguration delegates of the Center for African Leaders in Agriculture. I would like to extend a warm congratulatory message to each one of you here from Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Rwanda for your commitment to advancing your leadership for the agriculture sector. Your collaborative spirit and focus have brought you this far. Your 16-month journey to this graduation forum is testament to your sense of purpose, industry, and commitment, not just to complete CALA's advanced leadership program, but also your commitment to improving how we implement sustainable solutions to endemic food systems challenges in Africa. This is quite commendable. In the same breath, let me also congratulate AGRA, represented here today by Vice President Dr. Apollos Nwafo. Is it Nwafo or Wafo? I'm pronouncing it in Kiswahili. Okay. So the Kenya country manager, Dr. John Macharia, the CALA program leader, Dr. Nungari Mwangi, and all AGRA colleagues. you are heeding to AGRA's promise of supporting our sector leadership to transform agriculture. I also want to thank AGRA's implementing partners, the African Management Institute and USAID PolicyLink, for working with AGRA to successfully deliver CALA's leadership program. I'm pleased to note that CALA has developed an incredible network of mentors and advisors, such as Ms. Alice Ruenza of the World Wildlife Fund, who is with us here today. I want to acknowledge them here today for their good work. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest challenges we face today is moving from decision-making to action and on to implementation. Transformation beacons with many of the technologies, financing mechanisms, practices, and policies necessary for change in place. Yet all these require a spark. That spark, which CALA embodies, is collaborative leadership. That is the ability to work together in all our diversity as leaders to solve problems, to innovate, and to deliver on our commitments for the good of our people and the region. Your focus on sustainable agricultural practices is laudable. This is timely, coming after the just concluded climate conference, where the impact of environment on agriculture and food security was discussed within the constant context of climate change. Indeed, none other than the President, His Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, during the summit and United Nations General Assembly remarked that Kenya is facing the worst drought in 40 years due to climate change. I believe that through this training, graduates have gained skills and knowledge on interventions which address the impacts of climate change and resilience building against shocks and emergencies. I'm pleased to note that Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa is one of the key partners working closely with the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, county governments, and other partners to address agricultural issues in Kenya. Some of the projects supported by AGRA in our ministry have been addressing legal and policy reforms, digitization, marketing and input access, which are key enablers for creating a conducive environment for agricultural transformation in Kenya. I'm delighted to learn that CALA delegates are deploying environmentally friendly practices, tools, and techniques to solve food systems challenges. For example, one of the CALA action learning projects in Kenya, which was covered in the Daily Nation newspaper yesterday, is creating nutritious pre-cooked and dried fast food legumes that may be used for school feeding programs. And for humanitarian and emergency relief. In Uganda, the delegates have been working on enhanced protection of fish breeding areas. In Rwanda, on enhancing the productivity and commercialization of the maize value chain. And in Ethiopia, on increasing wheat self-sufficiency through wheat composite flour processing, to name a few. Our 40 graduates represent the public sector, the private sector, the civil society. Put together, they make one unified and loud voice that will advance how we deliver our agriculture sector priorities as a continent. I'm pleased to note that leadership training for the second cohort of another 80 delegates is already in motion. I would like to appreciate the boundless interest that this program is arousing with over 1,000 applicants for the second cohort that has just begun. This is a tribute both to the confidence that our people have in this program, as well as demonstration of AGRA's strong commitment to working alongside sector leadership. Let me conclude by thanking AGRA and all who have helped to bring to maturity the training we celebrate today. It is indeed a gesture of your willingness and commitment to the transformation agenda for achievement of food and nutrition security in our region. You have all worked very well, and I'm proud to associate myself with your success. So I just want to maybe add a few things. I want to repeat again and say congratulations to all of you, and welcome to Kenya for those who are from outside the country, from Uganda, from Ethiopia, from Rwanda, and other countries who have come here to graduate. So it's actually amazing that you have covered nearly everything agricultural. But I just wanted to say one thing, which I've also mentioned here, that in Kenya, and also maybe in East Africa, we have very brilliant people. We have mathematicians. I think maybe like the legendary Carrie Francis. Are they British? Was Carrie Francis British? We have Kenyan Carrie Francis. We have very brilliant economists in Kenya and also in East Africa. We have very brilliant scientists. We have one of the best documented subjects in the world. Where I sit on the 7th floor of the headquarters of the Ministry of Agriculture. I've been there for the last 5 years, but I only climbed 2 days ago. And as I mentioned, actually that place is an archives of knowledge of agriculture, not compared to anywhere in Africa. At one point, I thought it is a branch of the University of Nairobi because of knowledge. The kind of human resource there cannot be compared or measured with anywhere else. But from what I saw and discovered, all that knowledge I'm talking about has not been transferred from that building to outside the compound. My own observation, I don't know whether I'm very harsh to my people. Because the kind of brief you get in the office, even the World Bank cannot give you. The kind of knowledge they have, even the Food and Agriculture Organization cannot tell you. But the problem is we have not managed to transfer that knowledge to the field. That is why I've decided to come to challenge you. You have the same knowledge. I'm told you are graduates, isn't it? Graduates move out of a place he has been learning with a lot of skills and knowledge, isn't it? So what I want is to congratulate you and ask you to make use of that knowledge, to transfer your knowledge to the ground. Let the people learn from you. Let governments learn from you with authority. Because for you to be called a graduate, you are an authority of knowledge, isn't it? Authoritatively tell your knowledge to whoever make policies, so that we gain. Because Africa has a huge wealth of knowledge, which it has not been using properly for one reason or another. I think that's the important message I wanted to tell you. The other important message is that we are having the problems, very serious problems of climate change in the whole world. But only Africa is, I think, suffering from the effects of climate change for reasons you are going to tell me if I have time with you. But what I want to say is that we need to change the mindset of our people. From my own observation, again, because I seem to be very observant, I have not been in class like you, but from, observation every morning I wake up. We are still living in the past, even in terms of the problems of climate change. Many of our people, particularly those in rural areas, the pastoralists, the rural farmers, have not accepted climate change. I don't know whether you have realized that, or have not known, have not come properly to terms with climate change. Because they still talk about rains. Me, I come from northern Kenya, from a county called Marsabit. I was born there. In fact, I was born in Ethiopia. But we moved to Marsabit a long time ago when I was a very small boy. Now, where I come from, the only source of water people know is rain, even now, even today. Even as we are facing a very severe drought, people still have hopes that one day rains will come. The goats which have not died of hunger are being slaughtered so that they bring rains. I don't know whether I can call it hope or a false culture. Then the mindset is that everything is rain, rain, rain. So much so that it has even been incorporated into greetings. When you are greeting somebody, for example, when I'm in Nairobi, when I call my family in Marsabit, I say, habari ya watoto, habari ya ngombe, mvua imenyesha. Si hata nyinyi mnasema? If you have not asked, has it rains? You have left something. I'm talking about culture, which is not going. So are we prepared to change that culture? As people who have just graduated, because we also have that mindset that there's no life without rain. There is no life without rain. And we must get rain to get food. That is what is in the mindset. So as governments, including myself, I must change that mindset from the adoption of irrigation agriculture or water-fed agriculture. We must change the mindset of our people from rain-fed agriculture to water-fed agriculture. So that instead of talking about rains, you talk about water, isn't it? So that is the mindset also you should change yourself. Because as leaders, we have members of parliament in Kenya, we have senators, we have, various leaders at various grassroots levels. They must adapt to this problem of climate change and change with them. And because leaders are custodians of change, please aspire to change the mindset of your people from a chronic culture to a culture that will support us towards food security. That is my message. I don't have I'm not a politician. I don't talk a lot. So that is the important thing I wanted to tell you. Please let us make use of the knowledge that you have acquired from here. Help government, help your community, help policymakers with a view to change everything, to transform. In my office, these days, we are not only talking about agriculture, we are talking about transformative agriculture. We have been talking about agriculture since independence, isn't it? But now we are talking about transformative agriculture. Agriculture that will help change the pockets of our farmer. Agriculture that will help feed our people enough to eat and also enough to sell. That is the transformative agriculture we want to undertake. And that's why I also want to call myself a transformative PS. So that I don't live in the old agriculture. I don't live in the old agriculture. I want to live in the new agriculture, which is transformative, which must change lives of our people. It is very shameful for our people to feed on relief food this time, isn't it? How many years after independence for Kenya, for example? 60 years after independence. Why am I saying it's a bit shameful? We have only 3 known factors of production to fight hunger. We have land, isn't it? We have soil. We have water. We have human beings who can do some work. In many places, you go to America, they don't have those things. They have very bad soil. They have very bad water. As we have very good soil, very good water, very energetic people. But still, we eat relief food from social support. So this will no longer be acceptable, particularly in our government led by Honorable William Ruto. We will not accept to eat relief food from now on. That is the declaration of our president, whom I'm serving, whom you are also serving. We have agreed. We have signed charters, silent charters among ourselves to say no to laziness, to say no to inability to properly make use of our resources. We have said no completely. We have declared. That's why we have a plan in Kenya to put about 3 million acres of land under irrigation. Under irrigation. That is the policy of President William Ruto, which we are going to undertake. We have started, we are going to form public-private partnerships to set up about 100 big dams throughout the country. We will mobilize resources to complement those ones with boreholes to go the irrigation way so that we feed our people and proudly say that we are self-sufficient. So I think that is the transformative agriculture I wanted to talk about. Many of these countries have been doing very well. I know Uganda, they have done very well in their food policies. Rwanda, excellent. policies. I don't know how many of you are from Rwanda. How many people are from Rwanda? Yes. Very, very excellent public policies. Sometimes we go there to benchmark. So very soon we want people to come and benchmark from us in Kenya. And Ethiopia, they have very good policies. They are having very bad drought in southern Ethiopia. So we wish you all the best. I know you aspire to ensure that your country does the best. We wish you the best as you tackle the problems, the challenges you face. But those are challenges which can be overcome very quickly, actually. Those are challenges you can overcome with knowledge, with discipline, with goodwill. You can overcome those challenges and be better than those countries of the West, which we have been copying. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to take much of your time. We'll be interacting. I'm sure the ones from Kenya. How many people are from Kenya who are here? Nairobi, yeah. Congratulations. I'm sure you'll be visiting me to come and tell me what you have learned, isn't it? To transform our agriculture. And how many people are from Uganda? I will also be visiting Uganda. We have been getting a lot of your maize. But this time we want to plant our own maize. You can imagine with 3 million acres of land, what amount of maize we are going to produce, isn't it? Sorghum, maize, cassava, all those. So with those many remarks, I want to say thank you very much for listening to me. I want to thank Agra. They have been very supportive. We have been working together. Macharia. The country manager is Macharia, isn't it? Yes, we have interacted. When I was the director of administration in the ministry, I'm sure we'll continue to interact now with a view to ensure that we complement each other and do our best. So thank you very much. Once again, congratulations. Sir.
Thank you very much, Asante Sana, Honorable Principal Secretary. And please do join us as we listen to the final group of the 8, which is Team Transformation Kenya. Tay, I'm going to hand over to you, and I'm going to ask you to just do a 1-minute recap for our special guest. And actually, I'm also going to give him one of the samples. Honorable Principal Secretary, you mentioned what was in the newspaper yesterday, the pre-cooked meals. Well, this is the team, and they're going to tell us exactly what they did. So over to Tay.
Thank you so much, Honorable PS. We're so honored to have you here today, and a chance that the final presentation would be a Kenyan one. And so we already have your ear. We're very happy about that. And I just introduced the team again. We were 3. There's Helen, who is in your ministry. And Helen has been instrumental in developing what it is that we can be able to achieve in terms of getting the PPPs, private sector partnerships, in conjunction with what we're doing. So we're really happy to have had her expertise. And you said that there's a lot of database. Truly, in that mind, there's a lot of knowledge about what we have. And then there's Alex from Green Forest Alliance. And also, again, looking at what we are able to achieve from the work that they are doing with the coffee and tea, and now looking into horticulture. So just getting into what our project was about, we called it, we were Team Transformation Kenya. And what we really looked at was what we're doing as a company, because I was now in the private sector as a team member and running, we're running Nature Lock Foods. And what we discovered is that in nature, at Nature Lock, we are creating the legumes, the dried legumes that we have. So what we do is we pre-cook them. We look for the legumes, especially what is grown in the communities. And we talked about climate change. So what is it that we can be able to extract from what the farmers have and what would go to waste and put them into a product that is pre-cooked? And then we dry that. So we dry that, and if you shake the material, the product inside, you'll feel that it is dry. So it has a long shelf life. It can go far into the corners where people don't have access to good and nutritious food. So literally it's innovative fast food, healthy fast food. And that's and it's high in protein. So if we move further along, we will not repeat so much of what we said, but we are looking at tackling malnutrition for children. So we targeted specifically projecting CALA. What is there in malnutrition? What can we be able to achieve and see from the school feeding programs? So again, because of the limited time we had, we needed to pick somewhere in which was accessible to the three of us. And so just going into the findings that we had, we went into Superloaf Primary School, which is in Kayole, one of the public primary schools with a population of 2,300 children. And only 850 of those eat lunch in school. And when you look at the menu, it's rice and beans. Monday to Friday is rice and beans every day. And then there are children who carry packed lunch. So they have, and then when you look at their packed lunch, because we did questionnaires and did a lot of interviewing in the schools that we selected, we managed to talk to 5 of them of an assorted range. And when they carry their packed lunches, rice mixed with potatoes, there's Indomie, and we all know Indomie is very popular in our households, the noodles. And then there's kumawiki, there's a lot of assortment. And then there's the children who get money to maybe 30 shillings to go and buy lunch. So we encountered a variety of that, which is also a cross-section of what is happening in schools, both public and private. So the overall opinion when we tested the Dengu product, the green gram, we call them Dengu in Kenya, and they tried it. And what they felt, 80% were yummy. And some of them, it's got a bit of maybe, because we had garlic and dhania in it. So some of them don't like garlic. So we talked about that. And then they all love the product. So meaning that if we develop this further, we're going to be able to achieve more variety for the school so that they don't have to just eat rice and beans. In fact, as we go on, what happened with what we looked at in the questionnaires is that there was the time now when the economy was very strict for Kenyans, and it's earlier this year. So the school was already switching to githeri, maize and beans instead of rice. Rice now became too expensive for them, and they have to meet the cost of their weekly food budget. So if we look at the weekly cost of food for them, it's 72,000 shillings. And if they change to githeri, then they would be able to spend 26,000 shillings. So already they were looking and saying, hey, we have to even cut down further. And then the feeding program that the government gives them, whatever amount the government gives to the school is not sufficient because it has to feed the children, and also pay the staff and buy the cleaning equipment and all the other auxiliary activities around cooking. So it is not enough. And then they're using firewood. How could we also reduce on the use of firewood using what we are providing? Because if it is pre-cooked, then instead of cooking for 2 hours or overnight, they cook overnight. They boil the beans, they boil the legumes and the maize for throughout the night. And how do you reduce on the use of firewood, which costs 40,000 shillings in school for the term? So then the other risk, again, we mentioned it, is how children are given 30 shillings. And what they have to do is, instead of eating the school meal, they will go to the kiosk around and buy a soda or buy a snack that is not healthy. So that is how malnutrition is being exacerbated. Let's go on. We need to move a little bit faster. Then we looked at the second school, Kayole North. This is another type of primary school that is supported by an NGO. And so all of the children eat. There are 1,950 children. And what happens is that their varieties, Monday rice and beans, Tuesday eggs, they even have vegetables, rice and dengu. So they have fruits in some of the days. And they are beneficial because there's somebody supporting them. And the school now, when we went back to review at the end of our project, we found that, in fact, the school now population has increased to 2,500 children. It's increasing rapidly because many children want to go to school because there's food. So how, and that is a reflection of what is happening across the country. And I'm sure across Africa, food is a big incentive for children going to school. So how do we develop products that can be able to help with that, so that the schools don't have to think about food? It's there and it is available and it is healthy and nutritious and affordable. So if we go on, again, we're sure that the children like the food. We tested and they liked it. So that's encouraging, because that means that 30 shillings, they can take it to the school canteen and eat a school meal because it's tasty. That's a big deal. And so what we did, we realized that the schools haven't done their cost analysis. They look at the price of ndengu and say, no, you're serving your food at 350. At that time, we were serving it at 350 a kilo. And they were buying makueni ndengu at 160. And that's where they stop and say, oh, it's too expensive. But if you look now carefully at the cost that is ingrained in it, especially on cost of energy expenses, they spend 100 shillings of firewood to cook that meal. It takes them 30 shillings because we've absorbed that cost. So looking at what it is that we need to analyze in the food system so that we can see what savings we can create long-term. And so that is what the project was deriving out of the exercise that we did in the schools. So it makes sense, so that at the end of the day, the cost per serving at 350 shillings of a kilo will serve 30 to 50 children. And the portion price is 12 shillings, 12 to 11 shillings based on the kind of fuel they use. So there's a lot of thinking behind what we need to do to just get this working. Of course, the prices changed. This was in June, and prices have gone up for both sectors, fresh cooking and us. But it doesn't matter. The principle of it is that there are areas we need to look at in the food system that will help with feeding programs. If we can continue. So what we did then, we went into stakeholder engagements, and we called in the staff from the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Education, come and see what we do. We are on Mombasa Road at Nature Log. And how do we prepare these foods? Because also an element of trust is required across the value chain, so that we can be able to understand what the public sector needs and how do we mitigate these needs? How do we meet them halfway? How do we meet each other halfway and create solutions? And so looking at especially like getting into programs that are hosted by the ministry, like Education in Emergency Work Group. So we are members there and we're listening in. What are the challenges and how can we help develop products that might be fortified and able to help the children that are in the ASAL regions, and what can we do about that? And then we participated in the World Food Day. So part of our project was to go and understand what is happening out there, especially where now the situation, the crisis at the moment is the drought. How do we look at what is happening out there? What are they eating and how are they doing? So we carried our questionnaires to World Food Day and did a lot of sampling just for people to understand how to utilize the product. Utilization is a big thing. It's a new product, and people don't understand the utilization of just putting it in water for 3 minutes and you have your meal. Or if it is in a big school pot for 10 minutes and you have your meal and they're serving. So there's a lot of awareness we need to create, meaning that we need to partner a lot to be able to get that information out there of the good food. And at the same time, we fed a school called Esukuta Primary School in Oloitoktok. And it was hard to see that the children need food. They're hungry. And how can we help that? How can we do something about it? And what we fed them with 45 kilos of the dried ndengu. And it took 10 minutes. So it was a dash. Whoop, and we had fed the whole community of over 2,000 children just by serving that. So it's quick. So that then you don't need that much manpower. And then you can deploy the teachers to go and do something else apart from serving food and cooking. So that was something that also can be helped. So also with the project, we managed to have communication materials. We need them a lot for the schools, for the parents to understand nutrition and what we need to do. And so that was important for us to also develop. And then we also got involved in the Drought Appeal and started to call on people, donate the ndengu for feeding program. In fact, right now, today, we're with Red Cross in Makueni, teaching the communities how to utilize the ndengu because it makes sense and it's quick to eat. So we're also participating in the Red Cross because it's also helping. And this was generated by the activities that we were doing as a project. So a lot came out of it as we went along. And we kept conforming based on what was happening on the ground at the moment. And so we've had Hola School for the Deaf eating. We helped them finish their term with some of the food donations that we got from the appeal that we made as a team. So we were tackling things as they went. And so what we have seen is that we are creating impact for the stakeholders. We have generated some revenue for the company that has been useful. Of course, it is not the total revenue just by the team, but some of the activities that we did helped create some of the revenue and tonnage that we were able to put out there. But what we have understood is that we need to partner. We need to partner with the civil society. We need to partner with the government because we cannot do, as a company, as NatureLock, we cannot do things by ourselves. And we cannot feed the children that are communal alone. So we've got to do it together as a team. And so maybe what I'll do is hand over to Alex to just wind up on what our interventions ended up being.
Thank you, Tay. I'll quickly take you through some of the challenges that we faced during implementation. As with all groups, we've been facing some challenges that we've overcome. Some of the challenges that we faced initially on, we started as 5 people from different organizations, and you can tell sometimes we do have attrition in teams, and that was, affected on our morale at the earlier stages. But also it took a bit of time to close in on this particular topic that we ended up, settling on, and it took a lot of intervention and help from the CALA team, AMI, to help us through the conversation. We also did receive a lot of coaching and mentorship from a coach throughout the process. So some of the challenges that we also faced was the expectations, given that we also come in from different perspectives. I myself coming from not-for-profit organization, our colleagues coming from government, and another one from private sector. Again, there were quite a bit of team dynamics as we're gelling as a team. So one of our team members does use a hearing aid. And you can imagine, when we started this particular program, we were working virtually most of the time, or almost all the time. And so it was a challenge before we came to know about the situation that she was handling. The other thing is we've had transitions during the time. Even as we speak about some of our members dropping off, transition played a role. Some of our members got new assignments, myself included, to a new organization, and that also does play a role in terms of changing the perspective of the team. The other thing that we've had are funding constraints, and when a PS, those are some of the areas that will need a lot of support from your team. Inflation, as has been explained from a lot of our members here, we've been operating in a time of high inflation. Actually, it's astronomical in nature, and for various reasons. Obviously, the war in Ukraine has played a big part. We also had some delays during the election period, but we did have some ways of going around it through allocation of some of the roles. We have made some adjustments during the program, and one of them is to refine our stakeholder engagement approach. As you've seen in some of the pictures, we had some of the stakeholders coming to see what NatureLock is doing in their company. that was a reflection of how many stakeholders can we meet at a go in a span of 3 months. We've learned about stakeholder engagement, how to do it, how to get financing into the mix, whether it's subsidy, whether it's paying directly from parents or from government, but also building the stakeholder partnerships that Tay has just talked about. Tapping into existing forums. We wouldn't have done it during those 3 months had we not tapped into the various programs that the ministry has over the time. So our challenges are many and our lessons are many. How to create change on the ground using PPP approach, teamwork, and also doing some SWOT analysis in the process. We learned about value proposition. So in as much as we have an enticing product, it has to outperform whatever else is in the market, whether by tastes, whether by affordability, nutrient value, and also convenience, because we are living in a fast world where a lot of people would want their foods prepared using a very short period of time. We have also the customer journey. It's a process. You launch a project today, it will take a little bit of time for it to be accepted, but also you could work with early adopters. Price, people are always sensitive about, and these are some of the future collaborations we are seeking as we go on forward. Obviously, it's been listed in the various school feeding programs, but also lobbying on behalf of our stakeholders on the removal of VAT on some of these food supplies. You will notice when appears that particular product with 16% VAT and it's a food product, the prices increase quite a bit, especially when they through the supply chain. We also need to partner again on commercialization of ndengu. We're only producing about 16% of our needs in terms of ndengu. The rest is imported. And you've spoken here about importation from our neighboring countries, which is not bad, but it has its own place. So finally, this is the model we are thinking that would be helpful going forward. The model that you've seen that we've been using, the trader model, that is the normal model that people use. As companies, they source from traders. And traders do not necessarily care where they get their product from. They only care about their margins, and that's it. So they always go in at the lowest price for the farmers. So the farmers always get cut out, but also they sell it to the highest price for the companies that offtake it. So, but you're thinking to flip the model to ensure that we can be able to do small dehydration units at county level, and this will help us reduce losses that come with the production, do a lot of QC or quality control, but also create jobs and opportunities for young people. So that's where we are, and we are partnering with some university institutions on technical support. So that's what we had for our team. I'm sorry for taking too much time. Thank you.
That's okay. A big round of applause, everyone. The last group. Thank you very much. And the panel has been joined by a special panel member. So Honorable Principal Secretary, do you have any feedback that you would like to share with them? And I can give you a mic so those who are joining virtually can hear you.
Yes. I think I just want to say congratulations to them. This is a wonderful initiative. I have seen your future collaboration plans. They are very nice, and I will support you where I can. Please get in touch with me, particularly the issue of taxation. I don't think there is any need to tax foods which are helping, desperate situations like those. We will be able to talk even to KRA. And so let's interact and do our best. And some of the things maybe you have not indicated, you may even get from us. So I want to say congratulations. That is a wonderful initiative. You need to be given a head of state commendation. The decorations. Why do we decorate only soldiers, by the way? People who do great achievements like you should be decorated. So I have personally decorated you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sir. And I hope you help decorate all the other teams today. So soon you'll be joining us to do that. A very quick word from the panelists who've been very patient with us today. Thank you very much. And I want to first start by thanking Mr. Peter Owoko for being with us the whole day. Please just share with us any feedback you have for the team, any final feedback that you would like to share.
Thank you very much. This was a very impressive presentation. You are speaking to climate smart crop, which is very advisable at these times. Maybe the only thing you may need to think about is sustainability and linking it also to production. Otherwise, that was very good presentation. And to all presenters, this is job well done. And if we can translate, as the PS said, what we have into action, then we would be food secure as a continent. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And again, thank you for joining us. And I really want to, so the rest of the panelists are actually the trio. So you know the stools many of us grew up with our grandparents, the stools with the 3 sticks. Do you all have those in your cultures? The 3-legged stool is what holds up us. And it's really the 3-legged power of the 3 partners that has held up CALA. So I want them to just share their little piece of feedback very quickly in a minute or less. But before that, to also introduce themselves for the sake of Honorable Principal Secretary. I'm going to start with you, Rebecca. Yes, just for this one, just for this one. We don't have time for feedback for everything until later.
Understood. Karabusana, Principal Secretary, and congratulations, Team Transformation. So my name is Rebecca Harris. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of African Management Institute. We've had the honor of implementing CALA alongside, of course, AGRA and Policy Link. I'll give some short remarks later, but just Team Transformation, this is your moment. What a fabulous presentation, really, congratulations. That is a great project. Principal Secretary, you might not believe this, but this is actually one of 16 projects. So you imagine the outsized impact that the participants on this program are going to have. This one really very well done though, team. And I really felt it's so exciting to see the power of collaboration when the private sector and the public sector come together. And this project really particularly illustrates that, I think, doesn't it? You define the problem really well. And I love that you were able, I mean, you really leveraged what you had in your team, obviously from the product through to the different connections and the people in your team to bring together a really tangible, practical project. So really congratulations on that. Look forward to seeing where it goes.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. And to you, Robert.
Thank you very much, Reshma. My name is Robert Ouma, Bwana PS. Just to introduce myself, I am Regional Director of Policy Link, which is a USAID funded activity. I was very excited when you said you'll be a transformative PS because as a Kenyan, on the one hand, but also the work that I do, this is really music to me. So don't lock your doors when you see us knocking to say, hey, let's work on that transformation together because I know we need it. Our parents need it, our children need it. Now, in terms of quick feedback to Team Transformation, the team from Kenya, this is yet another exciting project. We are at the end of the day, I won't talk a lot. I have lots of comments, but I will find you guys and give them later. Your project showed all the elements that you need for leadership: collaboration, consistency, grit. You know, you're losing people from the activity, but still maintaining. Reminds me of one book, Grit, by somebody called Angela Duckworth. You might look for it. It's you know, your inner strength. We saw it in that project. One quick question I have for you, which is not for you to really answer, but to think about, is the issue of scalability. So you've gone to 1, 2, 3 schools, looked at what they would like to eat and so on. How do we take this thing countrywide? Even if you're not going country, how about the entire Nairobi? Because nutrition is an important aspect of food security as far as I'm concerned. And doing 1, 2, 3 for schools is not enough. We need to find a way of scaling this model. Is it recruiting more private sector? Is it doing what? And then the vertical integration is one that I like, where you go back downwards. Where are we sourcing this dengue from? How do we encourage farmers to grow more so they'll get more income while supplying nutritious food? You see, this is now how we achieve the transformation that we're talking about. So I really look forward to that. And a last comment is on fortification. I think it's, maybe you have thought about it. You have already nutritious food, but you could add something, vitamins, what have you, because you're dealing with kids who at this stage are really the ones we want to have the really best nutrition you can find. And fortification is one of the ways you could do that, and also increases the value proposition for this food. So other than that, I will thank you so much once more, and look forward to seeing these even on shelves. You know, let's see them on shelves, yes, in supermarkets. And when I see this, I'll definitely, pick a few, and I'm sure people in this room will do the same. Thank you so much.
I think on shelves is not enough. I think there needs to be a special CALA delegates discount. Anyone who's with me, put your hands up. Finally, I would like to come to Dr. Apollos now for just to share something little about CALA. I know you were unable to sit through the last presentation fully, but just something little about CALA that you'd like to share, and then we'll go ahead to the certification ceremony.
Great, thanks. But probably before then, just to congratulate Team Transformation on the project. I think I looked at it. There were two things that I liked about it. One was the public-private partnership that it brings to the table, and that's important. And in this case, it's about the public sector making the enabling environment while the private sector then does it. It reduces the financing burden on government, but it then meets the government's policy objective. If you want to look at it from fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. The other thing is around the fact that if we're going to achieve food systems, it's not just going to be about food, it's about nutrition security as well. And this project addresses it. So it is fantastic, So thank you, team. You've done a great job. On CALA, I think one of the things we have always looked for is this. How does leadership transform a people, to ensure that they have better lives? We are seeing increased income, and we are seeing that people are walking away from poverty as a result of purpose-driven leadership. And this is what CALA has brought to the table. CALA has also strengthened the need for partnerships. If you looked at all the projects that were presented today, all the ALPs as we prefer to call them, there was the critical ingredient of collaboration, of partnerships. If not, those ALPs would not have come through, and then some of the feedback they've seen have given greater need for the partnerships and collaboration. So I think that's important. So for us, CALA is not just going to produce leaders, it's going to strengthen partnerships beyond the 16-month period. So we're hoping to see how this will be strengthened. And we're hoping, and one of the things about CALA is that CALA is not an end in itself, it's a means to an end. So a number of these projects will be taken forward, and a lot of you said it, you know. So I do strongly believe that we have come to some great milestone today in collaboration with Policy Link and with AMI. I think together we've come to the point where we can say, you know, it's working and we can make it better. And it's not working for us, it's working for the vision that we set out when we set up CALA. What's that vision? That we will have African leaders who can transform food systems, you know, and ensure that countries are not suffering from hunger and poverty. It may be a small step, but it holds a lot of promise for every one of us. So PS, to you in particular, I'm saying you're seeing these results today, you know, taking them forward. Scale up is going to be key going forward, you know. I'm afraid that CALA will not necessarily do scale up, but CALA will open the door for scale up. That's what we've done today. And we do hope that, you know, I mean, AGRA will continue to work with this, but I think what is critical is government's leadership for scale up and sustainability. So we're looking forward to that. I'll leave it here and say thank you to all of us. All of us have done well.
Thank you very, very, very much to all of you. And thank you. Now I get to get on the stage. Thank you very, very much, delegates. Asante sana. Merci. Amasaganalem. Thank you for the work that you've done the past 16 months. Congratulations. We have made it. Can I hear some applause? Some of you missed your coffee, but I still want to hear some good applause. And it's time for you to get your certificates. So I'm going to ask to join me on stage, Brenda Wandera, the strategic lead for CALA, who many of you know, and she'll be leading this part. And to honor us with your presence, I really would like to request Honorable Permanent Secretary, Philip Harsama, please join us to help us commend these incredible leaders across the region, and joining him, Dr. Apollos Nwafor as well. Please do join us on stage.
I would request for a little more energy. I think it's been 16 months. They've put in a lot of work. And for the delegates, as you sit, please clap with a lot of energy, because next it will be you. All right. So congratulations, CALA Cohort 1. Very well done. 16 months of great work. I would like to hand you some recognition of your work as you join the alumni, and we hope to continue working with you. We're going to give the certificates in order of alphabetical order for the countries. And so Team Ethiopia, you're up first. Join me in congratulating Abraham Andreas Buta. Congratulations. As we saw in the morning, we did have some great delegates that were presenting online. They are not here. I would request their country people to please receive their certificates so that the certificate can be on camera. So I request someone to please receive the certificate on behalf of Amleset Haile Abreha.
Thank you very much. All the way from Addis.
She's online.
Amleset, we are waving your certificate to you.
Congratulations, Amleset.
Thank you. Thank you.
A round of applause for Antene Girma. I would like us to give a very special celebration to Ato Ifa Muleta. I know it was not easy for Ato Ifa to finish given his position. Please, let's celebrate him. Isaias Lema Hai. Please let's celebrate him. A round of applause for Fentahun Mengistu Tirune. We did have a number of ladies in the Ethiopian cohort, but please put your hands together for the one lady that made it here, Rahel Bonges Beyene. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm hoping that we have Semira online to celebrate her achievement, but in her absence, I will call one of her country people to accept her certificate. Semira Mohammed Bayan, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well done, Team Ethiopia. Onwards to Team Kenya. Put your hands together for Alex Nene. A round of applause for Anna Mukunya Mutinda. Congratulations. A special round of applause for Helen Omondi. A special round of applause for Jackie Odundo. Let's put our hands together for Peter Lugendo. A special round of applause for Tei Mukunya. A big round of applause for Tule Leneye.
Agriculture transformation office.
Yes. Congratulations, Team Kenya. Over to Team Rwanda. Let's put our hands together for Alice Mukamugema. I don't know if she is online, but join me in celebrating in absentia Belinda Buiza from Rwanda. One of the country people, please. A special round of applause for Francois. So, yeah, he's Semigiyumva. Francois, congratulations. A round of applause for Jean Bosco Gatanazi. Félicitations. Let's put our hands together for Jean de Thieu Omutoni. Let's put our hands together for Mutako Alfonsine. Congratulations. A big round of applause for Peter Naganda. Please join me in celebrating in absentia Salomon Barushimana. One of the country people, please speak for Salomon. We can celebrate him. He's in absentia. Félicitations et merci beaucoup à l'équipe qui vient de Rwanda. My little French. Well done. Onwards to Team Uganda. Please, let's have a little more energy. I know you are celebrated, the ones who've already gotten, so let's celebrate the ones who are coming up. Put our hands together for Charles Emongo. And just a quick mention, we do have stairs. I see people are struggling. We have stairs on this other side of the podium. Okay, let's, sorry, apologies. I think it's exercise time, maybe just to make sure we stay awake. Yes, in absentia, let's put our hands together for Daisy Asiro. Country people, please. Can I request one of the country people to receive on her behalf? Let's celebrate Lawrence Tusimuhongan. The energy is going down. We're almost there. Let's celebrate the rest with the same oomph we did for the others. A round of applause for Martha Bianyima. No exercise for Martha, I guess. She is the delegate. Let's celebrate Moses Kasigwa. A round of applause for Narcis to Musabe. Let's not get tired, almost there. A big round of applause for Rachel Ajambo. Huge congratulations, and let's put our hands together for Rachel Mbabazi. And last but not least, let's give a very huge round of applause to Ronald Wabwire. A huge congratulations to all the CALA delegates. Thank you very much, Honorable PS. Thank you, Dr. Apollos. Thank you.
Where is the certificate for our honorable guest? Yes, yes. Come on, everyone. Thank you very, very much, our honorable guest. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you probably have many other engagements, but you are welcome to stay with us. We are celebrating after this. We're almost at the end of the day here, and then we have the celebrations. We haven't forgotten that some of you are speaking on behalf of your countries, but we will do that as we celebrate with a cup of tea or whatever else it is. But I'm about to head to the vote of thanks. Before we do that, all the delegates who got certificates, stand up. All the delegates who got certificates, stand up. I want you to turn to the person next to you who's a fellow delegate with your certificate. And I want you, with all the love in your heart, to tell them, you made it. You made it. Congratulations once again. You made it. You made it. That's right. Thank you. You did make it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations. We will celebrate together, but just give us a few more minutes because we officially need to thank everyone. So you can take your seats, continue the hugs, continue the celebration, the African way. We make some noise, but let's take our seats for just a few more minutes. Just take our seats for a few more minutes. Okay, I'm going to ask now, if you give us a few more minutes, I would like to request Dr. Nungari Mwangi to come and give the vote of thanks as we close the official part of today.
Right. Wow, I feel like I received a certificate today. I am so proud of everyone. Congratulations, all the graduates, congratulations. So, one round of applause. Thank you. So I am here officially to give thanks, and we have a lot to be thankful for. Maybe uppermost of that is your 16-month adventure with CALA, and we are so proud of you. Congratulations, everyone. So without further ado, I would like to thank the Principal Secretary, Honorable Philip Kelo Harsama, for taking the time to be with us here today and for your wise and rousing remarks. Thank you so much. Also for sharing your own leadership experience. You mentioned that transformation beckons. And I think we'll remember that as we continue our journey of collaboration, hopefully also with you. You've made very many invites here, so I'm sure people will be knocking on your door. Mr. Peter Owoko, Director for Agricultural Policy Research and Regulations for the State Department of Crop Development, the Ministry of Agriculture. Thank you for taking time to be with us today. We appreciate your insights and your time, and we hope we can continue this relationship with you as CALA. We'd like to thank Dr. Agnes Kalibata, who was here this morning with us and really spoke from the heart. And really, I think I should say her vision to support sector leadership in a practical way has initiated the design of CALA and has really provided also the guidance and the support that we needed to bring it this far and to see it flourish. So thank you, Dr. Kalibata, for your leadership. We also want to thank Dr. Apollos Nwafor, who's the Vice President for AGRA, Policy and State Capability Division. There's a whole team there as well, JJ, Stella, Dorcas, Daniel, Adama, Judy, and team, everybody, thank you. CALA, as you should know, sits under AGRA's state capability body of work. And so that's where all of this is located. And I want to say thank you to the team for that. The Kenya country team for AGRA, John Masharia, Rachel Shubalira for the support, even on reaching out to the ministry on planning, the Uganda, Rwanda, and Ethiopian country teams for supporting with recruitment as well. I think many of you should know you would not be here if you weren't personally mentioned by someone who knew you, who knew your work, who put you forward, who sponsored you, and we want to thank all of those people here today. So thank you. Many thanks to all AGRA colleagues for pulling together and bringing this event to pass. The comms, the IT team, procurement, admin, travel, strategy, programs, everybody, we really do move as one, Asanteni, wherever you are. I want to thank our 32 graduating delegates today here from 4 East African countries, Kenya, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Uganda. I want to congratulate you. I also want to congratulate again your West African counterparts who graduated last Wednesday on the 30th of November, and we were celebrating them then. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for sticking the course. 16 months is not short. Thank you for building and forging those networks with each other, and we pray that those networks will continue to yield. I want to thank our implementing partners, the African Management Institute. Please, could you stand? Quickly. Brenda, Rebecca, Jonathan, Tamina, Reshma, Carla, Kate, Marimo, Tuva, Tom, everybody on the team, a heartfelt thank you. Thank you for your stewardship, your expertise, your commitment to the grind, your excellence in delivery. Thank you for venturing with us. Thank you for this adventure. It's been an honor working with you. Many, many thanks to USAID Policy Link, Roberto Uma. Thank you for representing them here today. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for the coaches, amazing work. We have 16 incredible coaches who've been supporting the delegates. We have one right here, Daisy. Thank you for your work. We want to thank Helen. We want to thank Steve for their stewardship and just for bringing everything together with us. Thank you so much. I also want to thank our Independent Advisory Committee. We were meant to have Ms. Alice Rukweza here today from the World Wildlife Fund. She was unable to make it, but she sent her regards. We have this incredible cadre of advisors who've been working with us to strategically position CALA in this space, and it would be remiss to not remember them here today. I also want to thank our mentors, our ALP mentors, who have been working with us on those action learning projects. We mention them often. Thank you wherever you are. Let's continue working together. Thank you to our audiovisual team, Dreamcatcher, our incredible communications consultants, Naliaka and Dennis. Thank you for telling CALA's story with such gusto. Thank you. And thank you to Kempinski Hotel for hosting us here today. We hope to be back next year for more celebrations. Thank you once again, everyone. Can we do my coffee? Thank you, everyone. I believe.
We can. I think we need more applause for Nungari for holding us all together. Ladies and gentlemen, Nungari Mwangi. It is time to celebrate. Don't you agree? But before we celebrate, you need to put your makeup back on. Look good. We have to take a picture. And Honorable PS, sir, we would be very honored if you joined our picture. So where are we going for the picture? Downstairs, one floor? Yes? We can do it here? Okay, we'll do it here. So give us 2 minutes to move all of that, right? You're going to do it there. So our amazing photographers are going to guide us. Then when the photos are done, where are we going next, Brenda? Where are the cocktails? On the other side of the hotel. When we are done our pictures, don't forget your stuff. We are going to celebrate with cocktails, mocktails, tea, coffee, water, whatever you fancy, on the other side of the hotel at 88. Okay, so please don't run away. Join us to celebrate. But in the meantime, the photographers are going to guide us on how this photo looks, and we'll hand it over to them. Okay, we're a little change to the program. Could I please get all the delegates who graduated today to come? And then we're going to ask our honorable guest to join us as well. We're moving this podium, so all the delegates who graduated today, you will come onto the stage.